Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry, this rather large cat that was on my lap has decided that she no longer wants to be on my lap. That is fine. How you doing, Inga? What up, Formula? How you doing, Richard? We're back. It's day 2. This one's going to be a little quicker. I got a couple of things I got to do as the afternoon approaches. I got a little bit of a busy day and everything. Just a quick little recap for anybody who missed it. This is hopefully a new daily show that I'm doing at noon, where we go over some topics that are trending, some news pieces, some information that is out there. Hopefully you guys are lovely today. This is the second time that we've done it, so it's far from a habit at this point, so it's hard for me to say exactly how permanent this will be, how long it'll last, whatever the case may be. But I appreciate you guys popping through. Appreciate anybody watching this later on. What up, Domi here? But yeah, hopefully everybody's having a beautiful day, and we'll go ahead and start looking. Like I said, I didn't bring very many things because I do have some stuff I got to run and do right as we hit the afternoon, and since the afternoon has started, we all noticed. All right, jumping right into it. The first thing, ballot printing errors. We were talking about election results yesterday. We were talking about issues. One thing that is really concerning to me as we are starting off the I guess the countdown, because we're officially 6 days now until election day. So all the early voting is coming in. We all know most states have had early voting in person going on, as well as mail-in ballots. There are a surprising number of stories warning about mail-in ballots today. I only pulled out a couple of them to actually bring in here and talk about today on this. But if you go look, there are already concerns about Maricopa County in Arizona being an issue. If anybody remembers the 2020 election, Maricopa County was was the one that really screwed up Arizona, caused Arizona not to be called on time, caused a lot of issues with Arizona actually being called for anybody, and Arizona ultimately was called for Joe Biden. Breaking news. A ballot printing error in Nevada County, California has led to scanning issues with 77,000 ballots, preventing counting machines from reading them properly. There's another story over here from the Huffington Post. This is the one that I actually thought I had pulled up. We may not know the next president on election day. This Arizona swing county could be why. Again, it goes on to talk about Arizona. It goes on to talk about Maricopa County. Maricopa County, again, was the issue that we saw in 2020. They're already prepping it to be an issue again. With yesterday, we were talking about the ballot boxes being burnt in Oregon and Washington. I believe that there have been some ballot box issues in Pennsylvania. I saw earlier, while I was scrolling through Twitter, I saw a post. Someone was talking about there was someone who had dropped off 44,000 ballots from in Pennsylvania, and the person was from Rhode Island. So you could see the election official, their license plate said Rhode Island, and a lot of people calling questions about that. The bottom line is, personally, one thing that I do not understand, I personally absolutely vote in person on election day. I enjoy the tradition. I do not disagree with people who vote early. I don't disagree with people who vote by mail. However, the tradition in this country, we have an election day. There are extenuating circumstances where you cannot be home, where you need an absentee ballot, where you need things that have been available for a long time. I don't have an issue with people using those. I don't even have an issue with people voting early by mail if they need to. What confuses me is that we have turned the election process into a month-long process, and it's just, I feel like it has diluted the election cycle. You know what I'm saying? Trump tweeted about the Pennsylvania thing. I didn't actually see Trump's tweet. I was looking through trending. I was looking through a couple of topics that had popped into my notifications. Those were the ones that really kind of stuck out. And so I think it's worth noting because there's so many different avenues. We talk about election fraud in the 2023 election, and I know that it's still a controversial topic whether or not election fraud happened. The bottom line is there are fraudulent things, whether or not you believe the outright election fraud happened. There are fraudulent aspects of the election which are certainly questionable. We should scrutinize every aspect of what decides who is going to lead our country. And the fact is, we are letting things slide that are, there is not just doubt, but reasonable doubt behind. The other story that we talked about yesterday when it comes to voter fraud, we talked about voter IDs. We talked about the importance of voter IDs in every state. And we were talking about this Virginia case. Well, today there was actually an update. So going into the issue with Virginia, Governor Youngkin, I believe is his name. The Supreme Court on Wednesday allowed Republican officials in Virginia to revive a plan aimed at removing non-citizen voters from the rolls ahead of next week's election. So we were talking yesterday, the state had actually put a hold on the governor's proposal to remove those people from the voter rolls. That actually has been heard by the Supreme Court, I believe the Supreme Court of Virginia, yeah? So, yes. That's not the National Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of Virginia heard and ruled on this issue and did rule in favor of the governor. It's being made a political issue already because the article does go on to point out that the court has a 6-3 conservative majority. The 3 liberal justices dissented. Not surprising, but at the end of the day, regardless, this is going to be something that comes up. Whoever wins the election, this is something that's going to be brought up. Obviously, if Trump wins, say if Trump wins Virginia, remember we pulled up the Electoral College map yesterday and we talked about Virginia potentially being in play, what that would look like if Trump were to win Virginia in the election. It makes the election much, much easier for Trump to win. If Trump were to win Virginia specifically, I can only imagine that this is something that's going to be brought up at that point, and they're going to say that he was given an unfair advantage by Governor Youngkin. Now, that said, if these are truly, my stance on this stands exactly where it did yesterday. If these are truly non-citizens of the U.S., they should not be voting in the election. But the bottom line is voter ID laws should be implemented in all 50 states. And if they are not in your state, you should be advocating to get them implemented in your state 100%. The other quick tidbit, I think the other things that I pulled up were longer discussions. What up, Cole? How you doing, my G? What up, Chris, by the way, as well? But the other quick thing that I brought up was this report. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says former President Trump has promised to give him control of several public health agencies, including the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Agriculture if he wins a second term in November. As far as Health and Human Services, I think that is absolutely a department that RFK should be given. RFK Jr. is outspoken about all many major health issues, especially when it comes to children. I think that he would be an absolute advocate and a star placement in any capacity with Health and Human Services, as well as, I don't know why Twitter is zoomed out so far, as well as the Department of Agriculture. Again, the Department of Agriculture, we need someone competent who actually cares about American health at the Department of Agriculture. As the Department of Agriculture stands, they make all the regulation for all the food that we eat. In one way or another, they are involved in everything that we consume, and it is currently wild out of line. I don't know if you guys have looked into the bioengineered ingredients in food. That was something that the FDA started requiring, I want to say about a year and a half ago, that if these companies were using bioengineered ingredients in our food, which there's no explanation of what bioengineered ingredients exactly is, if they were using it in our food, though, they had to put the label on the food that we were buying. If you noticed, when that rule was made, almost everything that you consume on a daily basis that is not fresh, that is not local, anything that is processed, that is out, that is around, that is shipped and stored, and whatever the case, all your shelf food, all that stuff, started popping up with the labels that say contains bioengineered ingredients. My biggest issue with that is I like to know what I'm eating. A lot of people, I guess, don't care what they're eating. They don't want to know what's going into their food, whatever. And that's fine if that's your standpoint. You're free to live your life. I'm free to live mine. But if you want to know what you're eating, why is a bioengineered ingredient just an acceptable statement to make on your nutrition label? So I think that would be a really fine appointment if you guys are familiar with RFK Jr. I'm not super familiar with RFK Jr. I like his stances on a lot of things. I think he seems like a fantastic guy. Definitely think it is a win to see him as a part of Trump's campaign. But, you know, the impact that he could have, I do see being pretty good with those two organizations. And definitely seems like a win to see a plan to put him in that capacity during a Trump administration, especially as it looks more and more likely that Trump's going to win. Cole says he got a new puppy. Let's go. Got your girlfriend and her dad to vote for the first time. That's a win. Hopefully they didn't become Kamala voters. But have always and will always vote in person on the day of. I don't get how for decades we got results of, now we don't know for a week because of cause for concern. Yeah. So the thing is, and it's a precedence that was really set in 2000 with the Bush Gore election, and I don't know. That was the first one that I can remember really being a long time before we could know who won the election. And that was super frustrating because, again, ultimately how that one was decided, it went back and forth. It really set up a lot of vitriol. Elections got quieter again, but then going back to normalcy for a while, like Cole said, it really popped off in 2020. This last election was the one that just got stupid. And it makes no sense that it went to the point that it went to, because we have more technology than ever. We should honestly, there's no excuse to me that every vote, I don't know, I assume that this is the case everywhere, but when you look at how votes are cast right now, you get your little, you do your little thing on the computer, right? You put in your results, you get the little sheet, and then you feed it into the machine on your way out the door. If that machine is feeding into a system, it makes absolutely no sense that the minute they close the doors and say nobody else can vote, every vote counted at that place isn't already tabulated and ready to upload. How does that make any sense? How is this even? This should be like a 10-minute thing. It should be like 20 minutes later, we know who the president is. Oh, polls have closed in New York. Ba-da-da-da-da. It's already fed into the system because all we had to do is click the upload button. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Votes after election day counts. That's unconstitutional. I don't think that votes before or after election day count, Cole. Like, I know you missed it earlier, but I was saying I get it. Some people have a valid reason to need to vote early, absenteeism, whatever. But really, I don't understand why we have moved away from an election day and created an election month. We need to make election day a holiday. Everybody's got to cook at home. Nobody can go get McDonald's that day, you know, whatever. Everybody is off work. Stock up in preparation. And now everybody's off work. Let's all go vote. You have no reason not to vote. Your employer has to let you off work. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Who do you think will actually pull through and win? Oh, 100%. I think Trump is actually going to win by a landslide. I'm not even joking, Chris. So if you watch, like I said, this is a daily thing that I'm going to start doing. I did one yesterday. I actually pulled up the Electoral College map. I'll pull it up right now. I'll show you exactly why I think that Trump is going to win. 270 to win. So here's the thing. When I look at the Electoral College map, this is where it currently sits. Okay? The 219 Electoral College points for Trump, 226 locked in for Kamala. That's assuming everybody keeps the states that they carried in 2020 and basically it's just the same swing states up. Abstaining from the vote is a vote itself. Absolutely. I think that everyone should vote. If you do not vote, you should not. You don't have an active say in this country. Period. Point blank. Here's the thing, though. When we look, Georgia is trending toward Trump. Also, like if you just look, I truly feel like last time was a fluke and Georgia should have been a red state, but that's neither here nor there. Georgia is currently trending toward Trump. So let's say that's not even a swing state. That goes to Trump. That puts him at 235 locked in. North Carolina, same thing. There's too much resentment in North Carolina because of the hurricane aftermath toward the Biden administration for Kamala to actually come back and carry North Carolina or even have a chance to win North Carolina. So North Carolina, I don't think is a question. I think that is a red state that is going to Trump. I also, so here's the thing. At this point, 251 points are locked in for Trump. Trump literally only needs to win Pennsylvania, which I firmly believe that Trump is about to win Pennsylvania. Should Trump win Pennsylvania, that is 270 electoral college points, and Donald Trump is your next president. Period. Point blank. He only needs Georgia, which he's probably going to win, North Carolina, which he's probably going to win, and Pennsylvania, which all polling and all trends show that he is surging ahead in the polls leading up to Election Day, so he is also probably going to win. That is likely the end of the discussion about who won the presidential election. Michigan can go blue. I really think that Michigan will go blue. There's just too many popular entertainers have came out in support of Kamala that are trying to move in that direction. But at the end of the day, these three, Georgia is going to go to Trump. North Carolina is going to go to Trump. Pennsylvania is going to, I do not see a reality where Pennsylvania doesn't go to Trump. Michigan, I don't think is really in play. Arizona is going to be a red state again too. At the end of the day, Arizona very well may or will end up a red state. The problem that the Democrats are going to have is Virginia is in play, and especially with Governor Youngkin removing all those voter registrations, Virginia very well could go to Trump as well, especially if those voter registrations were in Fairfax County, and Fairfax County is not skewing the state vote. I don't know about New York being in play, Cole. I think that's a little excessive. What up, Wick? No. These social media platforms, if they are platforms, have lost their Section 230 protections. They cannot silence conservative voices. Absolutely not, Wick. We are not trying to get banned. We are exercising our freedoms that the platforms allegedly offer us. Arizona, let's see. So Virginia, if Virginia is in play, the thing is, if Arizona is going to Trump and Virginia does become in play, he ends up winning Virginia, even losing Pennsylvania, Trump is still your president. Like that's the thing. Virginia is so huge. If Trump ends up winning Virginia, Virginia is just stupid big in that case. I don't think that it will actually flip. I think that it'll still be blue. Like I said, my personal predicted path, my personal predicted outcome of the election, if I'm filling out my what I think will happen, I'm giving Pennsylvania to Trump. I'm honestly probably giving Wisconsin to Trump, and I'm giving Nevada to Kamala. So I'm seeing 291 electoral college points for Donald Trump. This is roughly what I said I thought would happen yesterday as well. But yeah, I think Trump wins. I think it's closer than I want it to be. I think there's a lot of potential that it could be a lot bigger win for Trump. I think it could be a landslide, honestly, when people actually show up. I think there are a few blue states that are going to flip. I would almost question if New Mexico and Colorado won't flip. But that's speculative and that's unnecessary. If you want to know my prediction on what I think the Electoral College looks like after all the votes have been counted, the election is over, this is what I think that everything is going to look like. Inga says, we still vote on paper. After the doors are closed, the containers with the ballot papers that are approximately 1.5 meters by now are counted by hand. In about 3 to 4 hours, we know almost certain who won. Yeah, no, and there's no excuse for elections not to run that smoothly. Still trying to get Still not trying to get optimistic this year because 2020 fucked me up. You know, the thing is, though, I had bad feelings about 2020. I did. I did not feel good about 2020. I really feel good about 2024, and I don't ever want to tie one candidate to God's plan or anything like that, because I feel like it makes faith look bad. It also rejects people who don't share the faith, whatever. But I do want to say I've seen God moving so much in the last year. I think that there's a huge revival happening in America. I think that there's a huge just movement of the Spirit in our country right now, and I think that is absolutely. I feel like it's impactful somewhere, and I feel like the election is going to be a part of that movement. I see no way. I really, in my mind, I did not feel this way in 2020. You guys can go back. I did all the election night streams. Like, it's not hidden. You guys can see my reaction real time to all that then. I did not feel good about the 2020 election. This time, I see no way that I see no way that Trump loses this. Let's see. Trump would have been hit without the 7-mile-per-hour wind that day. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Speaking of the election, though, and the election outcome, this is an interesting one, and I think this is the last one that I wanted to talk about. No, I have a couple of others. So this is a huge one, and if you guys haven't seen this, so Nostradamus pollster reveals latest 2024 prediction, and now he's never had so much hate in an election. That's not the story. Historian Alan Lichtman has insisted that he stands by his prediction about who will win the 2024 presidential race, despite recent polls revealed that he has never experienced so much hate in an election cycle. If you guys don't know Lichtman, he is known as the Nostradamus of polling due to the fact he has correctly predicted the results of 9 out of 10 presidential elections since 1984. Here's the thing. This guy has they're called the keys to America. Basically, it's a series of true or false indicators that you run through to determine who is actually going to be the next president of the United States of America. Now, I think here's the thing. According to him, the indicators are on the side of Kamala in this election. Here's the thing. Here are the keys. So if you run through these, this is the way that the key system works. If 5 or fewer keys are false, this indicates political stability, and the incumbent party is predicted to win the election. In this case, that means Kamala would win. If 6 or more are false, this indicates a political earthquake, and the incumbent party is predicted to lose. So when you look through these, party mandate. After the midterm election, the incumbent party holds more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives than after the previous midterm elections. That is false. Okay? That is objectively false. We can look at the history of the Congress. The incumbent party, the Democratic Party, does not hold more seats. Period. Point blank. That is false. Number 2, no primary contest. There's no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. Now, where he is saying that this indicates in favor of Kamala is he is saying that there is no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. That is also false this time, though. RFK Jr. tried to campaign and contest the primary election. The Democratic Party decided that there would be no Democratic primary in this election cycle. It was not uncontested. It was not without people who were interested in coming to contest this election. So in this case, that is 2 indicators that are false already, even though he is saying that it is true. Even if you're on the conservative side and you give him that it is true that there was no primary, these keys still land in favor of Trump, objectively. Incumbent seeking re-election. The incumbent party candidate is the sitting president. That is false. That is false. That is either 2 or 3 false. It doesn't matter because you end up with significantly more false. No third party candidate. There's no significant third party or independent campaigns. So, here's the thing. There should have been. RFK Jr. is on the ballot in plenty of states still. And the fact is, he tried to run as a third-party candidate before joining the Trump campaign. So, we can say true, but we all know that that's false. And again, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. In reality, All of these to this point should be false, but even if you split it 2 and 2, you're still going to end up in favor of Trump. Strong short-term economy, false. Strong long-term economy, real per capita growth during the term equals or exceeds mean growth during the previous 2 terms. I don't actually know what the answer to that is, and so I'll give it true. I'll say that we're 3 and 3 right now. Major policy change. The incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. False. The incumbent, the incumbent party candidate is the current vice president. They're not going to change anything, so false. No social unrest. There's no sustained social unrest during the term. Absolutely false. That is already 5 that are false. Even if you're being extremely generous and giving them the 3 that we have given them. That is 5 false, 3 true. No scandal. The incumbent administration is untainted by major scandal. That is hilarious. That's 6 false. Or let's again be generous and give it to the trues and say that Kamala has had no scandals, has been a part of no scandals, and her administration has had no scandals. Let's say that that's true. It's not, but let's say that it is. That's 4 true. We're being generous today. No foreign or military failure. Absolutely there was foreign or military failure. That would be 6 false, but let's again say it's true. Give it to them. Give it to them. Major foreign or military success. The incumbent party achieves a major success in foreign or military affairs. False. 6 false. And you can't even give that to them. Major or charismatic incumbent. Absolutely false. Kamala is not charismatic. Uncharismatic challenger. Challenging party candidate is not charismatic or a national hero. Absolutely false, because Trump is charismatic. One way or another, he is charismatic. Now, you can give them to say that it's true, whatever. No matter what, no matter how you run it, in the most generous way that you can go to give them the benefit of the doubt, give the Kamala administration the benefit of the doubt. The fact is, the majority of those keys are false, which trends and projects in favor of the challenger. In this case, favors Donald Trump. So Lichtman is literally ignoring his own keys in order to say that the keys predict that Kamala will win. It absolutely predicts that Trump is going to win. Am I going to stream this evening? I will be streaming this evening. We're gonna do horror streams. Since nobody wanted to do them for ATRL tomorrow, we're gonna have a horror reaction stream tonight. Richard. Talking to someone the day Trump was shot, someone did some simulations where Trump was missed because of the wind that day. Oh, yeah, that actually, the windage would affect the shot path. Yeah, that's fair. If there had been no wind, he would have been hit. That makes sense. Do I want to debate with your brother? He's a strong Trump hater. I don't mind. I will debate with anybody. If you can convince him, you can convince anybody. I probably could convince him. React to Jubilee 30 versus 30. I actually saw that. I watched like 20 seconds of that. It popped up. I watched the one that Ben Shapiro did, and I saw that one pop up, and I started to watch it, but I didn't actually finish it. Have a good day, Richard. 100%. Let's see. Trump has charisma of a cactus, in my opinion. Well, fair. I mean, but even if you say that he's charismatic, the keys do not change. Lichtman is ignoring his own standard because the keys are overwhelmingly, almost all of these could be called false. They could all justifiably be called false. At most, you can call 6 of them true, which still gives 6 falses. 7 falses, which means by the keys which have accurately predicted 9 out of 10 of the previous presidential elections, Trump still wins. Proud Garbage here. I feel that. What up, Menace? How you doing today? That was crazy. I'm going to actually play that in a second. Ain't nobody wanting to chat with me about things? Oh, 100% people want to chat. All right, let's see. Let me get a couple, because I got an appointment going coming up that I can't miss. So let me just run through the rest of the things that I brought up that I wanted to talk about. This was actually supposed to be, this is what I was talking about when we were talking about ballots earlier. Man spotted dropping off a massive amount of ballots in Pennsylvania, but he has a Rhode Island license plate. Interesting. Trump seeks to disavow comics. Okay, so everybody's trying to make a big deal about the garbage thing. The funny thing, I'm going to skip over that. I'm not going to talk about that as much as I was going to. But I just want to play this clip for anybody who hasn't seen it. This is Joe Biden. It's like this guy says, it's almost as if he's deliberately trying to sabotage Kamala ahead of the election. If you guys haven't seen this, just
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. You know, he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Damn!
His demonization of things is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Well, folks, there you have it. I'm un-American. Menace is un-American. Domier is un-American. You know, I say the three of us. Wick is un-American. The four of us, you know, we've all been in the military. We all care, I think, to some extent about the oath that we took when we joined the military, even though that we're no longer in the military. We're un-American, though, gents. Here's the thing. It was Kill Tony, right? It was Kill Tony who made the joke at the speech, and I saw that Trump is trying to distance himself from it. That's stupid. I'm so tired of people overreacting to all these things. It's comedy. Comedy is supposed to be offensive. Comedy is supposed to be offensive. It gives you that little urge. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's offensive. Just because something is offensive doesn't make it actually hateful. It doesn't make it mean. Nobody was seriously, legitimately calling Puerto Ricans garbage. Nobody even implied that Puerto Ricans are garbage. The joke was about Puerto Rico being garbage. Now, regardless of how you feel about that, I have no strong feelings about Puerto Rico. I live in America. But what is the problem? What is the problem with the joke? When did we become a country where we can't make a joke? If you look at the recent specials, Joe Rogan was called the worst human on earth because of his stand-up special. Before that, you've got Dave Chappelle. Let's cancel Dave Chappelle twice over comedy specials. America at this point is we're so tucked in and we're so afraid of something that's funny, but not nice. Didn't I not like Trump? I don't like Trump. That point is now, Chris. Here's the thing, and this is the thing. This is the perfect example. The left in this country is forcing me to defend a man that I don't want to be president. I don't like Trump as a politician. I don't think that Trump is a great president. I thought he was a good president. I thought he was a fine president. There are plenty of people that I would rather see as president than Donald Trump. But the fact is, I have no choice but to support him and vote for him at this point. And the thing is, I'm a strong advocate of the Libertarian Party. I wish that we had a valid third party, and I think the Libertarian Party is the only party that has a chance of becoming the valid third party in America. That does not change the fact that the Libertarian Party, first of all, did not run a real libertarian this time. I do not like Chase Oliver. I would not vote for Chase Oliver, but this time around, the Libertarian Party should have endorsed Trump, because the true libertarian agenda at this point is in favor of Trump. We need to deregulate. We need scorched earth on all of America's policies. We need to restart. Trump is the only option for president because the left in this country is so radically progressive that we are going to implode if we continue moving further and further and further and further and further left in this country. Wish Obama would be president again. He's a charismatic guy. Obama was a nice guy. I don't like many of his policies, but he's a charismatic guy. Dude got naked at the Libertarian Party convention one year. Oh yeah, Libertarian Party in this country is just chaos. Like, at the end of the day, they're not doing a good job. Oh no. It will never happen. Let's see. And even if it does happen, it won't matter because you're always going to have a two-party system in Congress. That's not true, though. So the thing is, we have independents in Congress right now. They caucus with major parties, but they are still independents. The fact is, it will happen. It as long as America continues, it inevitably will happen, because the two political parties that we have at the forefront of American politics today were not the two parties that we started with. There have been several shifts in the two major parties in America. There have always been two major parties in America, but we have always seen parties come in to replace collapsing political parties in America. Inevitably, there will be a third party that rises to prominence and replaces either the Republican or the Democratic Party at some point in the future, should America continue. If America does not implode and fall, absolutely there will be a new political party that rises to prominence in America. We started out with the Whigs and the Federalists. We went to the at one point we had the anti-Masons. We had the Bull Moose Party at one point. We had the Democratic Republicans. The Democratic Party in America is the oldest party in America that is currently active. But you have to remember, Abraham Lincoln was the very first Republican. Like, that was the Republican Party began in the North during the Civil War. I want to return my center-left ideology. However, the Democrats are so far left I can't even recognize it. That's the thing. I'm very center-right. I'm a libertarian. I'm an extreme libertarian. So that puts me. If you look at the political compass, that puts me up a little bit. But as far as left-right politics goes, I'm very off-center, slightly to the right. I'm a conservative guy, but as far as policies and everything, I don't believe that the government should regulate most of the things that I have very extreme stances on. And so through that lens, when it comes down to it politically, I'm very center. However, the left in this country will not let me happily hold my views. Like Domier said, I'm not allowed to be a centrist because... And the Republican Party is not even a conservative party in my mind. Like, if you look at the Republican Party in America, the Republican Party is very, very liberal, very progressive. They concede far too much. They have moved further to the left. They are not a conservative party at all. And if you want my true prediction, I think that the Democratic Party will collapse within the next 20 years. If America continues, the Democratic Party will collapse because they're moving too far to the left. They will eventually hit a point where normalcy kicks in to the mass population of America. We will not continue to support these extreme progressive ideologies. Democrats will no longer be able to save face or get elected. The Libertarian Party will come into prominence as the conservative party, and the Republican Party will become the liberal party in America. That is where I think the future of America heads, especially if this election, I think this election is a huge contributor to how that ultimately turns out. If this election becomes a landslide, if this election becomes a referendum on the Democratic Party to show that America overwhelmingly rejects liberal policies, overwhelmingly rejects liberal progressive extremism, then we will start seeing the Democratic Party in America fall apart. For better or worse. And I'm not saying that as a hater of the Democratic Party, even though I'm not a fan of the Democratic Party. I'm just, it's an observation. Brother is just worried about weed and affording shit, and apparently he thinks voting Kamala will help with that. Pretty much everybody wants weed to be to be legalized at this point. I don't think that that's a liberal topic anymore. Can we please watch 30 versus 30 together? I've seen it, but I want to pick your brain about it. Yes, we can, but not right now, because I do have to wrap this stream up, and because I have somewhere that I have to be in 20 minutes. So I have got to run. It has been fantastic, guys. I am doing reactions later. It is horror reactions, but we can probably fit in the 30 versus 30 at the beginning if that seems like a fun thing to do. Still coming this weekend. I am very much still intending to. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. It's Saturday, right? Yes. If it's Saturday, yes, I'm still planning to. But I had to think about that for a second. Like, share, subscribe, follow, all those things, man. I appreciate you guys, and I am going to catch you guys next time, because I got a jet. But we'll be back hopefully tomorrow. We'll do the same thing again. Hopefully this will just be a daily thing at noon, and we'll catch you guys then. Take care. I gotta say the huzzah so the Inga doesn't get mad at me.